So I was asked to do a commentary on the song Man's World by Marina. I had hoped that it would be a James Brown cover, but it turns out to be a newly released single by this artist, Marina, and it's her latest single came out this year. And I want to break up my commentary into comments about the lyrics and comments about the music itself. I'm going to start with the lyrics, where I actually have disagreement and criticism to offer. Normally, in a review like this, you would put the best stuff first, then offer the criticism, then summarize in the closing arguments. I want to put this first and foremost, and you'll see why as I explain. Now, I want to talk about the lyrical content first, and it's normally, this is where I have criticism. Normally, when you're doing a critique like this, you would put the positive stuff first, then do the criticism, then summarize it all together in the final arguments. I want to put this first, and it will be important why I'm doing this in a minute. So, the lyrical content of the song has an extremely toxic, extremely negative take on progressive gender relations. And it can be summarized in the refrain, which goes, Mother Nature's dying, nobody's keeping score, I don't want to live in a man's world anymore. Now, I want to clarify something. I don't have a problem with songs about female empowerment. And I feel like I feel like I can be very easily misconstrued if I don't make that clear. I have no, the ultimate example being like Helen Reddy, I am woman, hear me roar, that kind of thing. No problem with that whatsoever, none at all. Indeed, I think those type of songs are helpful and healthy and useful, because what we're trying to get out of a song like that is we're trying to say we're trying to say that the person's individual worth, their individual value, their individual agency should not be diminished by the negative connotations associated with their identifying demographics. That is a good message. That is a positive message. That is a message that should be made for women, for blacks, for gays, and indeed for men, for straights, for whites, for every possible demographic. We need that message, that individual worth transcends the demographic that you fall into. And sometimes, given the political context of the society at the time, it is necessary to call attention to the reality of a particular demographic's individual worth transcending that demographic. That is important. There is nothing wrong with making that statement. The problem with these lyrics is that it goes in a very negative, toxic direction, where it says that everything that's wrong with society is to be hung on the shoulders of men, and that that this and only this is the cause of the problems in society, that we live in a man's world. And we have these platitudes that get tossed around like, oh, if women were in charge, we wouldn't have war. To which I naturally say, oh, so you would be okay. So it's just women in general. So if we put Ann Coulter in charge of the armed forces, we would have world peace. I think not. Anyway, so it's a very, it is already so far beyond reasonable conjecture that it's difficult to take it seriously. But what's interesting is in the context of the lyrics, or even within the content of the lyrics, she kind of debunks her own argument, because she says, at one point in the first verse, she says, you would have burned me as a witch centuries ago, now you just call me a bitch. And it's like, you know what? First of all, calling someone a bitch as an insult is not acceptable. I'm not approving of that at all. I'm not in any way, shape, or form saying that's okay. But in terms of the overall position of society, calling someone a bitch is infinitely, infinitely better than burning them at the stake. And yes, over centuries we have arrived at this reality that you should not burn people at the stake, that you should not treat people in that manner. And yes, it took centuries. And one of my great aggravations with progressive ideology is that thing of feeling like, because things didn't get perfect right away, we have to throw out the whole system and replace it with this kind of vaguely utopian, vaguely socialistic concept. And the simple reality is, nothing gets perfect right away. We now look back on we now look back on history and see the great follies of it, but it is the result of hundreds of years of generational progress that got us to this point where we can look back and see those follies and understand and appreciate them. So, right there, there's an unintentional acknowledgement that things have gotten better, and yet she's trying to make that sound like there's some kind of one-to-one corollary between the horrors of the past and what's going on now. Then she goes on, and it goes on in that same vein that we get to the point of attacking capitalism and that sort of thing. But she says something that's very worrisome and very troubling to me, which is, there's a repeated line. She says, "So don't punish me because I'm not a man." And and it's hard to tell based on the inflection, but it sounds like the way the curvature of the melody makes it almost sound like what she's saying is not, "Don't punish me for not being a man." She's not saying, "Don't punish me for being a woman." She's saying, it sounds like she's saying that there's a punishment that's due to men that that is not due to her because she's a woman. And that is worrisome to me. I don't like that attitude. I would not like if it was said about women. I don't like it if it's said about men. I don't like it if it's said about anybody. But the question, whenever I run into this particular stance on gender progress, where we have to say all of these horrible things have been done by men, therefore men as a whole are ruining the world, ruining existence, all of that, I have to stop and say, why is it always only the negative things? I criticized a while back, years ago, I did a commentary on the book Intercourse by Andrea Dworkin. And in the book Intercourse, she uses all of these examples from literature of examples of men in famous fictional works, famous novels, doing horrible things to women. And she says, this is what men are. This is what men are like. And my response to that was simply, well, what about all of the heroic characters from literature? What about Sherlock Holmes? What about what about Sherlock Holmes? What about Robin Hood? What about King Arthur? What about all of these positive character archetypes throughout literature? And it's just, why the negative ones? And to the same thing here, I would ask Marina, why is it that only these negative, horrible things done by men are put on the scale? We have seen in the centuries that have passed between witch burnings and now, we have seen the eradication of many horrible diseases. We have seen an extraordinary uptick in the standard of living for people all over the world. We see all of these positive developments. We've seen women achieve the right to vote, and now with Kamala Harris hold one of the two highest offices in the country, and I think it's reasonably now only a matter of time before a woman does hold the presidency. And we see all of this progress, all of these great improvements, but we still hold on to this position that the world is perishing at the hands of men. And I don't hold that it's perishing or succeeding at the hands of men. I think that it is the levers of power are being held by fallible humans. We want to try to make sure those levers are being held by the most decent, responsible people possible, but there will still be great problems, there will still be great catastrophes, and this attitude of it's one attitude to say women are awesome, it's another attitude to say men suck. And that's the message that she's conveying in this song. It is a very toxic message. It is a message that does not take into account the great progress of history, indeed seems completely deaf to the progress of history. And it plays into that same utopian mindset that is at the heart of the truly great follies of human civilization. Every time we fall into that mindset of, I've got the utopian vision that's going to save everything, that's when the very worst stuff happens. So that is my criticism of the lyrical content. Now, here's the thing. I am willing to ignore all of my disagreements with the lyrical content because, oh my God, this is one of the best songs that I have heard in a long, long time. It rocks. It rolls. It feels really fucking good and really fucking satisfying. Oh my God. Like, first of all, I could go on at length, so I will. First of all, there's actual melodic construction. There is a tonic, subdominant, dominant resolution process happening in the melody. I could sit down with that melody and show you why it evolves from a theory standpoint, why it is a good, quality, engaging melody. We have been missing melodies like these, ever since we bowed down to the pompous assholes of the trap music world and said, this will be the only style that exists for the entirety of the human race now. And I'm from Atlanta. Trap music is it's just all over the place here, so forgive me. But anyway, it's ever since we started bowing at the altar of trap music, and everything, all of the melodies now have been so recently have been just complete crap. It's been these guys that think that if they drop the inflection of their voice a little bit at the end of the phrase, then they've created a melody. I used to be a rapper, but now I'm a singer. And that's a melody in their minds. And let's throw on a big thump from the 808, and maybe we'll get a semi-talented female vocalist to do a little ghetto yodeling in the background. Ghetto yodeling is what I call that stupid crap that we hear in modern R&B and that sort of thing. We'll do a little of that in the background, and then we'll have a big thumping 808, and the beat will be going, and we'll have absolutely no idea, no reason. There'll be no valid reason within the song why any of these choices are made. It's just, this is what's mysteriously popular now for some reason. I mean, my God, here in Atlanta, we actually have a trap music museum, which to me is like having a museum for jock itch. And don't get me wrong, there is good rap out there. HBO Max occasioned me to start watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air again, which I haven't watched since my childhood. Easily one of the best sitcoms of all time, but it also got me listening to Will Smith's rap again, and I had forgotten what a good rapper he was. If you want to hear good rap, go listen to him do Boom Shake the Room. But anyway, so it's an actual song. It's not just random jack-offs in a studio programming these weird things that they don't understand why they're programming them. It's an actual song with actual melodic development, actual melodic content, actual instrumentation. It really nails it. It really does it, and it has and building on the it's not trap thing. It's in straight time. It's not in halftime like trap music. It's actually engaging, and it has these soaring harmonies that just come flying in, and it feels. I mean, I was hearing. I'm a fan of power metal, and I was hearing elements in this of what I like in power metal: ethereal, angelic harmonies, soaring vocals, a passionate, steady mid-tempo groove like Journey comes to mind. Actually, a more the lower end of up tempo is where this is, but it is so engaging and so beautiful, and I just fell absolutely in love with this song over and over again. I've been listening to it. I went and started listening to Marina's other stuff, and The other stuff is a little bit more rooted in the current trend of trap. A little, there's elements of that in there, but even so, this song is such a positive step in the right direction, and I encourage everyone to check out this song. Make it a hit because it is more. Getting quality music like this out there is more important than any disagreement I might have with the lyrical content. I can tolerate I could tolerate an entire album of this message from Marina if the songs rock this hard and if they feel this good. It just was such. I seriously. I mean, you have no idea the interior crisis I've been having over this. Like this melody free these melody free melodies that we're doing now. Look what you made me do. Look what you made me do. Or there's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. Like it's just like we're going to. If the rapping is on a pitch, then it's somehow a melody. That bullshit. This overcame that, and they did a damn good job with it. Oh my god, it just felt so good. And I'll probably go listen to it. I have to go run to the store. I will probably listen to it on the way because it is that good of a song. And part of the reason, the lyrical content merits analysis is because it's delivered with such a strong melody that it's noticeable. And this song just erupted out of the void of my soul, the disillusionment that I've had with modern pop music. Pop music is important. We need good quality pop music. There's been such a throwaway trend. Songs. I'll give you some examples of similar songs from when I was a kid. Aqua, Barbie Girl, Jennifer Lopez, Waiting for Tonight, Savage Garden, Truly, Madly, Deeply, Spice Girls, Two Become One, that kind of thing. These are pop songs. They don't aspire to be great works of art, but they are so crucial. We need these melodies. We need these melodies to invigorate us, to move us, to drive us to passion, not this thump. We don't need that shit. We need real, actual music. Oh my god, and this is such a return to that. And it's such an exciting, such an invigorating song. We need to encourage this. So go check out Marina, Man's World. Go listen to it. Go embrace it. Go indulge it. Because what this song offers musically transcends its narrow-mindedness from a lyrical standpoint. We have got to have more songs that are this good. For the sake of humanity, we have got to have good songs again. And listen to this song, and I think you will hear the difference between this and all of the other mumble thump trap music crap that's been coming out. This is so vital and so important. And like I said, beautiful soaring. It reminds me. I'll tell you what. One song it really reminds me of is like Limahl singing "Never Ending Story." It really has very much that vibe, maybe a little bit more intense. But that is what we need. And I think about why are things from the 80s that channel the 1980s, like Stranger Things and the Vaporwave movement, why are these things so popular? It's not just because it's pre-middle age to middle age people like me yearning for nostalgia. It's not just that. It's because there's something so vital and beautiful about being alive that was portrayed in the culture back then that we're not getting now. The media that's coming out now, it all feels like we're all just where it feels like every movie that comes out is on Thorazine. Every song that comes out is severely opiated. I mean, it just feels there's a deadness to it. This music, this song is a refutation of that. So, thank you, Marina, for this song. Please give us more and sing about whatever the hell you want, just as long as you're doing it this well.